Hey guys, it's finally here. We have the YouTube channel up and going. Um, Not all the little details are worked out, uh, but enough to get us going and making some photo candles. Um, I know the camera quality is not great on me. I saved the HD camera for the photo candle itself. You can see it back here. It's a lot clearer than my picture. I'm just using my laptop uh, video camera for me, but our work needs to be nice and clear where you can see it. So I'm actually going to shrink myself back up here in the corner because they're not here for me. What we're going to do, guys, is make photo candles. I'm going to show you how I've done them. I've did them for about 3 years now. I've did them as a hobby for gifts. Even had my own business at it. Um, I've kind of gotten out of the business aspect of it. Um, but we do have a Facebook page, and I'll link that below. We almost have 1,000 uh, likes on the page, so that's really the reason behind this, and I want to share my knowledge of photo candles with everybody. We're going to be doing all kinds on this channel. Today we're just going to start off with a 50th wedding anniversary sample. These are just some images I found online. We're going to go through the process, make it, um, and then the next videos will be breaking it down into different projects you can do with your photo candles. But let's go ahead and get started. Um, of course, first we start with the computer. That's the most important part. That's how we get our images where we want them. Now I know the screen's blank. I have to add a screen region. So that's what I'm going to do now. Sorry it took me a minute. I'm just going to check and make sure. Okay, so what we have here is just some images I found off the internet. I do use this a lot, this 50th wedding anniversary. It's easy to find on Google Images. And this is a nice old wedding picture. I thought it'd be really nice to use. So we make a blank 8 by 11 on Photoshop. Now I use Photoshop 7.0. You can use any editing software. The reason I like Photoshop, of course you can do all kinds of things to your photos, but you have these rulers which make it easier to get them on your candles. Now we're going to be making a 3 by 6 pillar candle today, and I always like to work um, in landscape mode, and I'll show you why a little bit later in the video. I totally did that wrong. Sorry guys. Sad part about this, I've already did this. Wow, I can't believe I forgot how to do that. I just did it 2 seconds ago. Okay, yeah, didn't reach that stuff. Sorry about that, guys. I haven't did a video in a very long time, um, and I'm not an editor. I don't know how to edit my videos, so they will be all uncut. But I'll get to them as fast and as painless as possible. I promise. Now, what I did do is use the magic wand tool to erase the background on this. Um, it had a white background. Now, when you're dealing with photo candles, the best thing to do is to delete the background so it doesn't cover up another part of the picture. But if you can, it's best to get it completely off. So we're going to take this and bring it over. Now, the reason I like the rulers is we have an 8 by 11 sheet. We know we're working with a 3 by 9 candle. So one thing you want to do is get your borders. You want to leave an inch for all your photo candles because you do have glued edges. So all this will be glued um, the tissue paper onto the plain paper. So we have this to work in. Now, we're also going to be working with a 3x6, so we need to bring one line down. And what this does is we cannot go past these blue lines. This blue line, this blue line, this blue line, this blue line. This is what we have to work with. So now I'm going to use the free transform to stretch that, holding down control. Now I'm just going to get everything basically sized up and then go from there. Now I like this image and I even like the border, so we're just going to crop all this, and then what we'll do is slide it over. Another free transform, hold shift, keep it in proportion. And guys, I'm sorry if you're not familiar with Photoshop, you'll have to check that out. I don't want to go through all the steps of Photoshop, just because this video will be way too long. I'm already going to be working on a really tight schedule, um, because if not, it'll just be a monster to upload. Now, one thing I do. Wow, why is it not letting me? Oh, I haven't hit enter. Sorry. I take away the background, so that I can see what's going on, and I can already see a problem. Not hard to fix. Um, I don't like the white part. I just want to keep these black edges in the picture itself. So what I'm going to do is go to the magic eraser tool and just completely erase that. There's a little squiggly mark here. Make sure all the white got deleted. Yep, we're good. So we're going to zoom back out. Now we could leave this exactly the way it is, but I always like to personalize a little bit more. So I'm going to free transform and actually make us some more room. Make that picture smaller. We'll have to work with that 52. Free transform. Now I know this looks really small, uh, but it'll actually fit right on the photo candle. So remember, we're keeping away from that blue line, but we do have to keep these pictures aligned. And this was took a lot of trial and error for myself when I first started out to figure out these margins. So you already got a leg up on the game because I figured all the hard stuff out for you. So now we have that, but I want to add some text. I'm actually just going to add my grandparents' name, John and Reba. We'll come down here and put the last name because I want it to kind of stand off on its own. And I'm actually going to make that just a few points bigger. We'll move that up to 30. And that's just to highlight the last name because that's, to me, after 50 years, that's important. Just throw a date in here. Put a comma. 19. 34 seems like it's old enough. But I'm going to shrink that back down to the 24 like the names. I want to resize my box a little bit just so that that's all in one line. I definitely want to make sure that's all in one line. I just kind of line it up by sight. Some people, and I have in the past, will put a line there just to keep everything a little centered. It's easier if you'll do it like if you lined up on a tube and measure it all out, but I'm not going to do that. I can eyeball it pretty good, and it's just a sample, so it's not going to be perfect. Now that's looking a little weird to me. I want to make sure I don't have a double space in there. No, did not have a double space. So yeah, my deal with the making that bigger just ain't going to work. It don't look right. It looks a little funky. Okay, that's better, and it'll look better on the outcome. What I'm going to do is actually put a drop shadow. Sorry, I can't talk today, guys. Make it a little, give it more of a three-dimensional look, and that'll help it stand out from your candle. Because remember, the two different colors you can really work. I mean, you can play with any. It's not a science, but really for the best results, I found that a solid white pillow candle and a um, I call it antique. I think the actual term for it is tan. Works good, especially with black and white. Tans really look really good. Now, if you wanted to do this all in black and white, you could totally do that just by let's see, what would you have to do? Um, should be adjustments there. I don't know what. Oh, because we're on a text layer. We could go adjustments. Sorry, I'm working with the mouse on the laptop here. Uh, you can do it a bunch of different ways. Um, you can just take out take everything out here. Oh, that's the photo. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Like I said, guys, I don't edit. I'm sorry. I apologize. But I just don't do that. See? And now it's all black and white. Um, and if you want to do that on an antique style candle, that's totally fine. It looks really good. I like the little pop of color. And we could change the color of the text itself. So we wanted to try to match that up. We could do that by sampling a color. A little hard to see, so we'll go in and put a drop shadow, or not drop shadow, but a stroke on that. Make about 2, change it to black. You got to watch with that. It does make it muddy. Uh, Sometimes it look good, sometimes it look bad. You can lighten it up; it'll look a little better. But I like it without, um, and I like it black. So that's what we're gonna do. But don't be afraid to play. Um, the actual print itself is pretty cheap. Um, you're not even going to print on photo quality. You're going to just print on regular photo paper, and I'll go through the motions. I've actually already got this printed out. Um, I'll explain why in a minute, but it's very easy. Once you have it, it's going to look something like this. Now, you could double it. Let's say you could probably triple this one if you wanted to. You could do duplicate layers and just move everything over and line it up. You can learn your own technique with that, how you want to do it. But let's say you want to make this for maybe the aunts, the uncles. Uh, you could do that. You could print out 3 at a time. Um, I actually seen a mistake on my first one. Fixed it, and printed again right beside it using the same piece of paper because making the paper up is kind of a pain. So after you have what you want, file, print, you do want to make sure that you have it on landscape if you're going to do it like me. Now on the indie candles, it usually is portrait because of the length, but we'll get into that when we do the indie candles. I'm going to try to do these. I'm going to try to produce one video a week. Um, I do work a full-time job, so that may not happen. But then we would print. Now let's close out this for a minute. Go back up to the big screen. All right. Now this is probably the most important part of making photo candles. Um, the actual physical making of it. Here's what you're going to need. There we go. Tissue paper. Plain white tissue paper. And you can play with this. Probably not going to work. I've tried. But there's some people who get creative and make all kinds of crazy stuff. So, and I've already opened one up. And what you would do is just unfold it. You can see there where I've already cut a sheet out. This is what was left off the piece that I cut. As you can see, it's not as wide as a regular notebook page. So this is pretty much scrap, unless you want to do a 4x6. Oh, no, it folds out. I'm wrong. And there you go. And you can get 2 out of that. No problem. Now, this is where I kind of messed up for today. I usually do this with a glue stick. It's a lot neater, more precise, and all you do with your glue stick, and I'll use my Sharpie as a backup. But what I would do, I'll just move this out of the way for now, is I would take my glue stick, and of course I'd have this so I don't get any glue on it, way over here. But I would just go around the edges with my glue stick. Then I put my paper down. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to hit that button. I hope that records. If you didn't see it, we just went around the edges all the way around. And then you take your glue side, flatten this out really well. I don't have a lot of room on this desk, so I can't get it full up, but I had to set the camera up. And then you would just lay it down, press really good around the edges, get all the wrinkles out, and just let that dry. I actually used Mod Podge today. It was the only glue I had. I cannot find my glue stick to save my life. So this is what I used, just regular Mod Podge. It is a glue and a sealer. Now, we will be working on some other projects besides photo candles later on, and that Mod Podge will come in real handy. You'll really like that one. But, like I said, I'm not going to do that right now because I've already done all that, and it's not my favorite thing to do. It's a pain. So, once you have that glued together, I learned very quickly, especially when I was in business for myself doing these, if you'll take a pair of scissors, and remember, this is glued, you don't want to go all the way through the glue, but if you'll just take your scissors, and here, I'll do it on the other side. So you can see that, yeah. If you'll just, and a sharp pair of scissors is invaluable. Yes, I know I stutter, I'm sorry. That's where I'm nervous. So, see how that edge is rounded off? I do that to both sides, and then stick it in the printer. Now, I will pre-warn you, if you have a printer that the paper goes in the drawer, and then it prints up to the top, you better glue that sucker good. I'll show you my printer in just a second, but there's a reason I got the printer I got. It's just designed more, it doesn't have so much bending to do. Because what will happen is, where these are glued together, this is all thick, and it'll get jammed, and you'll have to make up 10 of these to get, I've had to make up 10 of these to get through one candle on a bad day. And yes, you can see I've already printed those out, and I'll show you my mistake on the first one in just a second. I really hate to move that, but I will. So I told you I would. Oh, well, there's my printer. I'll tell you the model number. But it feeds from in the back and just has to slide through, so it makes it a lot easier. Oh. Yep, there we go. And you can see the computer there. This is a HP DeskJet 3052A. It's just a workhorse for these photo candles. Now, let's see if you can see. Can you tell the good one and the bad one? Here's what happened. This line was not deleted. I cleaned out the light, but didn't clean out. I didn't notice there was a background. So after I printed it, I was like, oh no. So I went back, took that off. Also, if you can see this part, that's with the drop shadow. Can you tell the difference in that? Focus, focus. Oh, it's going to be blurry. Sorry, guys. I am going to get some studio lights put in here, so it's a little bit easier to see. And these look really small, I know, but trust me, when they get on the candle, you'll see how good they work. Alright, so those two improvements. Now, when you're cutting these out, let's say we were going to use this one, this little black spot, don't worry about it, just cut it out. Because the only thing we got to worry about, and I actually could have cut this box out and not had to worry about it, except for it went through the photo. And that we have to cut out. So I'm just going to cut this bad one out. Toss it to the side. Now, we're just going to trim close. You see where I made the cut. Doesn't have to be perfect. I do like to keep a square, or as square as possible, cut, just because it goes into the wax a little bit easier. Make sure and do not cut any of the drop shadow, anything like that. Now, this part wasn't glued, so it comes apart. If you glue this to this project will not work. So, and you can see we still got a lot over here, so I'm not even trim that up. Just make sure and keep it on that paper, or it's just not going to cut right. But I'm going to leave myself a little bit. Now, the way this whole process works, your ink is on the photo paper. The photo paper is very thin. It has little micro dots in it. And the wax is going to go through those little holes. Not to mention, the paper gets wet and pretty much 50% dissolves. And then you're left with basically the ink in the candle. Now, because the ink or the wax goes all the way through the paper and forms on the other side, it's timeless. It's not going to fade. It's not going to dry up and come off, anything like that. It actually becomes a permanent part of your candle. Now, this is my favorite candle to use. It is a compression candle. Now, what I mean by a compression candle, and it took me a long time to figure this out, but a compression candle is made by a big machine. It's basically a wax powder that's put into a die, and a big hammer comes down, stamps, and you have this type of candle. I've tried making my own. The problem is that I found, and there's much better candle makers out there than myself, don't get me wrong. Of course, you need to use a strong wax like paraffin. I never could get a wax candle to work, or a soy candle to work. If you can, there you go. Hey, send me a message, tell me how. But these compression candles do really well. And like I said, you can get them in white and off-white if you want more of an antique look. You can even see this has been burned a little bit. And this is a recycled candle. Some parts of it's got holes in it. But I do have a good sheet here to work with. And I can reuse this, because all I do when I'm ready to take one off is just take the back of my scissors and just scrape it off and square it up a little bit and have a brand new candle that I can use. So let's get started. This is what everybody's waiting for. Now, the next ingredient you need, yes, I'm cheap. I go to Food City and get the Food Club. Wax paper. Nothing fancy. Use hands if you want. You got it, use it. Tear you off a section. Now, watch out, those do float away sometimes. I like to make sure I have enough to do this, because I'm going to have the heat gun in this hand. The picture's going to be there. So, and if you don't, you'll burn your hand. And I used to wear gloves when I do a lot at a time. So we'll find and you want to inspect your candle. You want to find the best place to put it. And I'm not picky today, but then you want to line it. Let's see, where's better for you guys? There you go. Now you see that size worked out great. We had a little bit more to play with, but I wanted to play it safe first video. Didn't want to look like an idiot, which I'm sure I've already done. No, whatever you say. probably are saying, I wish this guy would shut up. Alright, so I just use the wax paper to keep that in place. I give it a last lick to make sure it's straight. Looks pretty good to me. How about you guys? Looks good. Now, guys, don't burn yourself. But this is a heat gun. You can find it at Lowe's in the paint section because a lot of people use this to remove paint. You warm the paint up, scrape it off. It's done. You can use a hairdryer, but I'm telling you, it'll work so much better with this. There are craft versions of these. They work great. You're just going to pay 2 to 3 times more for them. I got this at Lowe's for 24 bucks. This is the second one I had. The first one tore up on me. Took it back to Lowe's, said, hey, it tore up on me. And they replaced it for free. So, way to go, Lowe's. Now, you have a high and a low setting on this. I always use the low setting unless I'm working with a different wax or it's just not working out for me. But now, this is going to get loud and it's going to become really hard for you to hear me. So I'm going to bring this mic down and hopefully you can hear me through the piece. So, here we go. Or no, it's high that I use, sorry, not low. See the difference? Now, we're just going to get it all nice and warmed up. Yes, your hands on burn. Now, what I want you to see, and I'm hoping it comes through, I'm waving back and forth, but you should see, I hope you can see that. So that's getting wet and shiny. That means the wax is starting to melt. And you can just watch that tissue paper disappear. It'll just disappear right into it. Coming through nicely. You want to give it a break. Let it cool. Got a few spots around the names. It seems like the names are always the one you take a little extra heat. Make sure your corners, all that is melting good. You just don't want to run. If it's running, that means you got your wax way too hot. Let it cool down, start again. You have to, wipe it off with your finger. Just be careful. There we go. See, and I'm doing this in stages. I'm not doing it all at one time. Because I want to let it dry a little bit to see my wet spot. See if when it dries I have any white spots. Now, I'm starting to get runs. I don't know if you can see it or not, but around May, yeah, right there by the M. So I'm going to quit. Put this up, try not to burn my leg off or anything else for that matter. But it is hot. I have got blisters. My hands, they're tore all to pieces because of this, I swear. Now, before it gets too dry, I'm going to slowly peel this off because I don't want the elements to come with me. Just going to let that rest for a minute. Throw that wax paper away. Do not try to use that wax paper. It's useless. Now, we already have our photo candle up and going. Alright, we got some edges here. Just going to take that while it's all nice and soft. A little piece of that old image right there. Just going to kind of carve that little black spot off. That's really not wanting to come off, is it? There we go. Oh, almost. You won't have all these problems with new candles. Then just take your finger, round that edge back off. Kind of inspect it close. Everything's looking good. There we go, guys. That's our photo candle. Done. Done and done. So now we could take this and get some tube wrap, shrink wrap, and put over it, seal it up. Thing's gonna last forever. Now, one thing I'm going to warn you about: where your candle's going to be going. If they smoke, if you do not get heat shrink tubing, and you're going to want to get a 4-inch. If you do get some, especially if you're going to do this to make money on the side or go on business full force with it. You're going to need to get that, because what that does is protects that wax from getting stained. Dust, if it's in a very dusty place. Usually people put them on shelves. That's where dust is. The shrink wrap really helps keep it clean. And they can take it down, clean it, put it back on the shelf. It looks brand new. So that is an investment. I actually don't have any left right now. I have to get some more. And if you want to email me any questions, guys, for now you're going to use the Live with Vapor that's been on the screen the whole time at gmail.com. That's another channel that I have. But we're just going to use that email because my phone will only send me one email at a time. This is the photo guy. I hope you enjoyed. There will be more videos out there. I'll put some links below to help you out. Hopefully see you next time. To everybody on the Facebook page that has liked, if you watched this, thank you very much. It took something I really wasn't going to do anything else with, and I've got support from all over the world. Egypt, I can't believe how many people from Egypt have liked the page. England, Germany, Australia. Um, I know there's more countries out there. Uh, thank everyone. You know, it's something that I enjoy doing. Never thought it would be as big as it is. But I'm glad you're there, and I will put out more videos. I'm not done with this channel. I want to make it something. And it's not just going to be photo candles. It's going to be, I got a wood project, a wood photo project coming up. I'm just waiting to get my printer. I've got to get a good laser printer. I'm actually wanting to find somewhere where you can actually get that done, share that information with you. We'll go from there. Um, but that's going to be it. We'll see you next time, guys. And don't forget, play around. It doesn't cost that much to play around with it. We're going to go into using stamps, hand drawings, all kinds of stuff. See you next time.